The first thing I'm going to do with you is I'm going to talk about the tones. And this was something that I did maybe incorrectly beforehand with the course, is I thought we could focus on learning to read the sounds first and then worry about the tones later. And I just added that as a second layer. And then I discovered that nearly all of us who learn Thai tend to be procrastinators. So hardly anybody ever went to the second level and said, okay, let's now add in the tones. So based on that, it's not a linguistic thing, it's a psychological thing or time management thing, I don't know. But so based on that, I've decided we're going to do the exact opposite. We're going to do the hardest thing first, or what seems to be the hardest thing first, just so we can get it out of the way. And then we're going to go over it over and over and over again until it becomes boring and trivial and easy. So firstly, I'm going to demonstrate something to you. Can you say that sentence in two different ways, each with opposite meanings? Steve, you want to have a go?
What sentence is that? I'm only seeing your face.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, I've shared the screen. Oh.
It was shared before, but then we lost that shared screen.
Now I just see Joseph. Say it two different ways so that they have opposite meanings.
Yeah, this sentence here.
I didn't think it was so expensive. I didn't think it was so expensive.
Okay, Raina, you want to have a go?
Sure. I didn't think it was so expensive. I didn't think it was so expensive.
Now that kind of means more or less the same, right?
The first, I would say, like, I meant like the relative expensiveness is that I didn't think it was so expensive, implied compared to something else. The second one, I meant that it was expensive.
Right. Joseph, you want to have a go?
Okay. I didn't think it was so expensive. I didn't think it was so expensive.
He did it right.
Mm.
The first one is it wasn't that expensive.
Right.
And the other one was, yes, it was expensive.
Mm.
So yeah, but you see what's happening in English is that, yes, these words don't have individual meanings by change. They don't change their meaning by changing the tone, but the sentence can very often change the meaning. And very often that's how we use irony, is we say something, but we change the tone or the tonality of how we say it so that it has the opposite meaning. Oh, you're a clever clogs, aren't you? You're not quite sure. You mean, am I being complimentary, or am I am I being rather nasty? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to be using the same tones that we have in English, and we're going to apply them to Thai. So the first group of tones I'm going to call a question tone. So they are, let me focus on here. In fact, I'll tell you what, let me just write the tones down this way. These are possible tones. Question, emphatic, and monotone. There we go, 3 tones. So in English, if I were to ask you a question, I would say, okay, there's several ways we could use tonality in English to ask questions. But if I said why, how, where are you going, are you fine? Now, can you do that? Can you say exactly what I've just said with that kind of tonality? Because really
Yes.
what I'm want to get you to do is to get the feeling of what that tone feels like to say a question tone. Why?
Why? How?
Yeah.
I don't remember the third.
Are you fine?
Are you fine?
Yeah. Raina?
Why? How? Are you fine?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Yeah.
Why? How? Are you fine? Where are you going?
And not where you going. Where you going?
Where are you going? Where are you
No, that-
going?
Okay, for you that won't work because you didn't actually use a question tone, what I call a question tone, but your why and your how was kind of right. So now what I want you to do is I'm going to give you a word. Obviously I'm not going to spell it for you because we don't know the letters yet, but the word for two is song, like a song, but kind of more like a R sound, song. But you say that with the question tone. So it's like why, song, how, song, are you fine, are you song? And what I tend to do to get that tone or to get the feeling of that tone is I find the English tone first. Are you fine? And that usually works for me. Are you fine? And then I change the fine with the whatever the Thai word is that has got the question tone. In fact, the question word for Thai is my. So are you my? Can you each do that? Are you song? Are you fine? Are you song? Are you fine? Are you my?
Are you song? Are you my?
Are you
Raina?
song? Are you my?
Are you song? Are you my?
Yeah. So that's it. You now know how to do what I call the question tone. There's actually another variant of the question tone. So what I just demonstrated to you was what I call a curious question. You know, when you're genuinely curious about something, you'll say why, how. But there's another way we can ask a question, and usually when we're skeptical or expecting the no answer. So I call that the uncertain question. You understand, right? Are you sure? Are you feeling okay? Really? All right, can you kind of get that, try to say that and feel the feeling?
Are you okay? Are you fine?
No, I wouldn't use fine because we're going to be using that for the
Oh,
curious question tone. So you should feel kind of skeptical or uncertain or unbelieving.
Why? How?
No, that's
When?
no. Okay, that doesn't work for you. How about saying what? What did you
What?
say? What?
What?
Yeah. So that for
What?
you, the skeptical tone is what, or the uncertain tone is what? Raina?
What?
And now say something like,
Are you sure?
Sure, really?
Really?
Yeah. Joseph?
Are you sure? Really? Are you okay?
Okay. You kind of have to feel a bit uncertain, kind of almost, it helps to scrunch up your face a little bit and be a little bit, not really sure that you're right, that you're okay. So the word for temple in Thai is what? It's exactly that. What? not what, but what, like an ah sound. What? So just say the word for temple. Steve.
What?
Yeah. Raina?
What?
Joseph?
What?
Okay. And the word for water or liquid is kind of like really? Nam? 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 So
Nam?
say that.
Nam?
Yeah.
Nam?
Yeah.
Nam?
Yeah.
Nam?
You got it? You got it? You sure? Really? Nam? Okay, so we've got those two question-like tones. And then the third tone is emphatic. Now that's actually very easy for us to say. It's basically putting in a lot of energy. In fact, I've just done it. Energy. Yeah. So it helps to kind of punch the air, make a bit of a fist and go, yeah, wow. So give us some energy.
Right. Now.
Yeah. Raina?
Good. Yes.
Joseph?
All right, let's go.
Okay, now the word for 5 is ha. And you've got to say it with that kind of emphasis, that oomph. Ha. So give us the number 5, Stephen. Give us a 5. Give us a high 5.
Hi.
Raina.
Ah.
Ah,
Yeah. Joseph.
Ha.
Ah. Okay. Now, if I were to say the same word but with a question tone, are you fine? Ha. That means to go look for something. Ha. So can you try that? Say, are you fine? And then say, ha.
Are you fine? Huh?
No, that sounded a bit uncertain to me. So try again with, are you fine? And then
Are
say,
you
are you
fine?
ha?
Are you huh?
Give it more of a question. Try to be curious.
Are you huh?
Yeah, that's try to feel the feeling that you feel when you say that, because that's what I'm
Huh?
going for. I'm going for the feeling. You've got to feel the tone. You don't say the tone, you feel it.
Are you
Raina?
huh?
Yeah.
are you fine? Huh?
Again.
Are you fine?
Ha. Say why.
Huh?
Why? Say why.
Why?
Ha.
Why? Huh?
Yeah. Ha is a longish. They were both longish sounds, like why. So you don't say why. You say why.
Mm.
How. Ha. Hey, Robert, you made it. Okay. I'll be with you in a minute, Robert. Joseph. Okay.
Are you fine? Are you ha?
Yeah. So if you're looking for somebody, you would say ha. But if you want to say the number 5, you've got to put an oomph in it. Ha. Okay, Robert. Hi. Your mic's on mute.
Yeah. Hi, Gary. Hi, everyone. Sawadee
Yeah,
Krap.
good. Robert, yeah.
Okay.
He's been here forever. He's almost like he's a native.
Yeah, but I can't read. I can speak, but I'm sure if I can read, I will improve my speaking.
Okay.
You can listen, but yeah.
Well, just for the other sake, how about telling us a little bit about yourself and your attempts to learn Thai and
I'm an attempt
he also
to
he's
sign
also
up for
busy
your
saving the world,
class.
by the way.
Yeah. So my name is Robert Steele. I live in Chiang Mai. Actually, I've lived in Thailand pretty much for 25 years. Long time. I came here originally to work for a Thai NGO on the environment, and I worked for them for 8 years. So I learned Thai basically by listening. And in my NGO, it was mostly female staff with some Gatai. So my Thai inflection or my Thai language is very feminine because all my teachers. So I have, when I speak Thai, many male Thai people are like, why you speak like a girl?
Yeah, they probably think you're a Gatori, right?
Yeah. Are you gay or a Gatai? I'm like, no, it's just all because I learned by mimicking, right? I learned by ear.
Right.
So I didn't have time to pick up reading. I tried a couple of times, but just was just too busy and maybe wasn't disciplined enough. Yeah. But yeah, so after that, I've had a consultancy since 2005. I work in the sustainable development field. So I work all over Asia. But I'm based in Thailand, but actually most of my work is not in Thailand. Currently, I work in Laos. I have a GIZ project. I've been for 2.5 years. And I just came back to Thailand after 15 months of being pretty much locked out, not being able to come. But my family is in Chiang Mai. I have children in Chiang Mai. I have family in Chiang Mai. But just right now I'm in hotel quarantine and I'm on annual leave. So I thought it would be probably the best chance I have to take Gary's class because I've tried to sign up many times, but my work being a consultant has made that very difficult. So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you, Gary. And yeah, I'm very excited to finally be disciplined and learn to read. Yeah, which I know will improve my Thai understanding and language as well.
Absolutely. So in one sense, you're quite one of the more advanced students here. So Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Nice to meet everyone.
All right, so I'll do a quick recap because, Robert, I'm going to be using the English tones to refer to, I don't know if you ever learned them as things like high, middle, rising,
Yeah.
falling, shit like that, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That doesn't work because it makes you sound like a sick whale.
Yeah, I watched your video this morning, so
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, so we've covered all that. So, okay, well, I'll just carry on then. So I've basically quickly covered the fact that we've got the two question tones. So like why for the curious question and the skeptical one, what? So the question word my in Thai is exactly like our question word in English, why, how? And the skeptical one is kind of like what? The word for temple, what? has that kind of skeptical what tone. So even if you don't think in terms of English tones, because you already know what a what is and how to pronounce it, then think of the what tone as what and the question tone as my, sabadi mai. The emphatic tone is the one with energy in it. So like the word ha, you got to put energy into it. Ha. And then,
Gary,
yeah,
if you say alai,
there's no tone, and that's the next one I'm going to talk about.
Yeah.
So in fact, most of the time Thai people actually speak in a monotone, and it doesn't sound like it to our ears because we pick up on all these strange inflections. But if you consider how we speak English, we also actually have far more inflections than Thai people do. Look, I mean, if you listen carefully to what I'm saying, I'm using all sorts of tonality. If I were to speak in a boring, dull voice like a computer, you would find it very difficult to know what I'm saying or pay attention. See what I mean? And that is actually what I call the monotone. And when Thais speak quickly, there's usually no time to make all the tones for every word. So what usually happens, you tend to string a bunch of words together in a monotone. I'm going to bring my hand up in a monotone. And then when there happens to be a pause or an end of a phrase or at the end of a sentence, of course, that's when you'd actually make the tone clear for that last word. Before that, you kind of more or less rely on the context to know what you're talking about. And I'll demonstrate that to you later. But in the meantime, we are going to practice saying every single word accurately with the correct tone. And then later on, when you start to speak more quickly, you can start to, in fact, just by the act of speaking quickly, you'll feel, it's a very natural physical thing. You'll naturally not have time to say the tones, and then you'll speak more like a native. So the monotone is the hardest actually for us as English people to speak because we have to consciously not vary our voice. So the word for come, for instance, is a monotone, and the word is ma in English, in Thai. And because it's got a long sounding vowel, you've almost got to exaggerate it longer than you would normally want to, so that the person you're speaking to can hear that it's a monotone. So if I were to ask you where you're going, I'd say bye, and then I'd use the question word nai with a proper question tone, bye nai, but the bye part is a monotone, bye nai. So can you try each saying that? So first of all, say bye. And keep your voice very deadpan. Yeah, that's good, Steve. Raina?
Bye.
Yeah. Joseph?
Bye.
Robert?
Bye. Bye, nai.
Yeah.
Bye, nai.
And the nai is a question tone. Nai, like my. So my is a question tone for, in fact, it's like our question mark in English. And nai is like where in English. So go where, bye nai. So can you all practice that? Bye nai.
Bye nai.
Bye nai.
Yeah. Joseph?
Bye nai.
No, it's an N sound. Bye nai.
Bye nai.
Yeah, and try to make it more of a question. Painai, like where?
By
how?
night.
Yeah.
By night.
Robert?
ไปไหน
Yeah. Now, painai means where you going. And actually, that's kind of like a how are you question in English. You know, hey, how are you? Where are you going? You don't expect a proper answer. In fact, the answers are I'm going to work, I'm going out, I'm going home, I'm going to eat. That's the four. So, painai. Now, the word ma has two meanings. It means to come, but it's also used to mean something that's happened in the past. You know, so it's come from the past. So if I were to say painai ma, I'm asking you, where have you just been? Where have you just come from? So can you practice saying that? Painai ma.
Painai ma.
Yeah. See, there's no time really to say painai. You actually just go straight to the ma, but you keep it all dead plan. Painai ma.
Painai ma.
Yeah. Good. Rena?
Painai ma.
Good.
By night. Ma.
Good. Robert?
ไปไหนมา
Yeah. By the way, Robert, make your R's much longer. Painai ma.
ไปไหนมา
Yeah. One of the things I'm going to be nagging you in Thai is that there's a very big distinction between short sounds and long sounds. So you know that poem about the little girl that had a little curl in the middle of her forehead? When she was good, she was very, very good. But when she was bad, she was horrid. So the same thing with the Thai sounds. When they're long, you make them very, very long. And when they're short, make them very, very, very short. So ma and pai and nai are all kind of long sounds. So at least in the beginning, you need to exaggerate the length of these sounds. And a word like what, you've got to exaggerate the shortness of the sound. What? You don't say what, you say what? Okay, one more monotone, and that is when you're feeling sad. So it's like, oh dear. So the O part is the regular monotone, and the dear part is when you're feeling sad. Oh dear. So a word like, let's see, tao for turtle. Tao is kind of sad. And what you think in your mind is go, oh dear, and then the dear part is the tone that you're looking for. In fact, a better example is the word see. See is a number 4. And you've got to say it with a sad tone, but also very monotone, very level. So start off by saying, oh dear, and then say, see. Steve?
Oh dear. See.
Good.
Oh dear. See.
Yeah. Joseph?
Oh dear. See.
oh dear see
Okay, done. Okay, we've done the tones. Now we're just going to practice them and apply them to certain words. So let me open up the app. Have you had a chance to look at the app yet? Go through it a little bit? The new
Yes.
version?
Not the new version.
Okay, right, this is the new version. And basically, got an intro, you just watch the videos, you just go through it all. To try to memorize anything by rote. Okay, let's see what lesson we're on now. Okay, let me move on ahead. Okay, so the first vowel we're going to learn is the ah. And, oh, there it is. That's its shape. And this vowel, kind of like in English, always sits on the right-hand side of a consonant. And this square here is some sort of consonant. I'll come back and talk about that a little bit more later. But this vowel here is a long ah sound. And you have to open your mouth as wide as you possibly can, like you're at a dentist. And in fact, I have a picture of it here somewhere. Let's just see if it's in the video. The ah.
imagination do the rest. But another way to think of this vowel is that it looks a little bit like the suction tube that a dentist puts into your mouth to keep your mouth dry.
Okay, so this is a little bit hard for even those people, maybe like you, Robert, who've been here for a while, to, in a sense, exaggerate the ah. You got to really open your mouth wide, and that's the problem. We don't do that in English. We don't open our mouths that wide in English. You know, in fact, if you come from the north of England, instead of saying up, you say oop. I'm going up the stairs. I'm tired. I'm going upstairs now. So whenever you see this vowel, think of it as the suction tube at the dentist, where you open your mouth and say ah. Or imagine a guy is really bursting to pee, and when he finally does, there's this huge big gush of pee coming out, and he goes, ah.
I can relate.
Right. Yeah, Rainer, that doesn't apply to you, I'm afraid, but that's you can use the suction tube, but you know what we mean.
Yes.
So, right.
Consonants have sex.
So let's talk about that. When we apply the tones vary depending on the sex of the consonant. And we have 3 sexes. There we go. There are girls, boys, and ladyboys. So there's a bunch of girl letters, and as we go through each letter, I'll point out what the sex of the letter is. And usually, by the way you remember the mnemonic for the letter, it automatically comes with the sex as a kind of a free bonus. So it's not that difficult to remember. And there's not that many girls. There's 1, 2, I grouped these together because they're kind of same shapes, same sounds, similar sounds. 1, 2, 3. These 3 are all the same letter. 4, even though they look different shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 girl letters. And boy letters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And these are very, very obscure letters. So give them half a score. So 5.5 boy letters, and all the rest are ladyboys. Nearly all the letters in Thai are ladyboy. And it just happened as an accident that I called them ladyboys, because the story is that I was thinking of the German der, die, das as a way of distinguishing between these 3 types of letters. In Thai, they have a completely different system, which is illogical and makes no sense and very difficult to remember. So I just got rid of all that and I replaced it with der, die, das originally. And then I thought, hang on a sec, we're in Thailand, we're not in Germany. The 3rd set is the ladyboys. So, and then everything went downhill from there. But it kind of works, And again, same thing, as we work through these letters, I'll tell you what the sex is. And you usually find that the ladyboy is always in some way contrary, they're sexual, they're depraved, they're drunk, they party, you know, they're ill. So something weird and wonderful about the ladyboys. Girls and boys are a little bit more boring, but otherwise easy to remember. So the sex of the letter determines what the tone is going to be. And this is what we're going to go through over and over and over again, what I call the graphic tone flowchart. This evolves amazingly over the years. This is probably the best version I've got so far. It's really, really simple. Well, it could be simpler, but it's Thai. The simplest way of getting the tones in Thai would be simply to have a little symbol on the top of a word saying tone 1, 2, 3, 4, or something like that, or like a little musical symbol saying question, skeptical. And in fact, I've done that. I've created okay, so I've got these 3 classes of tones. The 2 question tones: curious, why, how, and uncertain, what, really? The emphatic tone, yeah. And the 2 monotones, which is like a boring tone, like a robot. I am a robot and I don't speak with any inflection at all. And being sad. Oh dear, I'm so depressed.
Do most people find it the most difficult to differentiate between the curious and the uncertain? Is that kind of a common challenge?
Yes. They're kind of close to each other. So what I do with the curious one is I think of it as coming from the belly. Why? And in fact, it even helps to hold your belly. Why? And the uncertain one is kind of in your what? And it helps to almost lean forward slightly and scrunch your head, like, what is that? I didn't hear you. What you said? What? So if I think of some of the Thai tones that have uncertain, nam, what? Let's see, ran. So if you physically
That's
do
helpful.
that, it comes out right.
Okay.
Don't intellectualize it. If you intellectualize it, it definitely comes out wrong. And that's how I was speaking Thai right from the beginning. I was thinking whatever the tone was, and I sounded very strange to the Thai people. But that takes practice, and we're going to work through it over and over again until you're sick of it. So I'll just give you a preview of how it works. Since we can't in Thai put in tone one of those 5 variations, we have a slightly more complicated system. But what you basically do is when there's a tone, there are 4 tone marks, and you basically do what the tone mark tells you to do. And the tone mark will tell you what the tone is. So if you have what I call a surfer tone mark on top of a ladyboy letter, that'll give you the uncertain tone. And a surfer mark on top of a boy or girl will give you the emphatic. And I've got something called a dagger tone mark, which kind of the reverse happens. If a dagger's on top of a ladyboy, you get the emphatic tone. My. But if you get it on top of a boy or girl, you get a sad tone. There. But if there's no tone mark, then you have to do something else. And we're going to work on that now. But you see, if there's no tone mark, the girl, in this situation, a girl letter gives you a question tone, and a boy and ladyboy letter gives you a monotone. And this one's a little bit more complicated. So at the moment, it looks a little bit overwhelming. There's lots of lines and graphics and things that don't mean anything. But we're going to go through them quadrant by quadrant, very slowly, until it becomes automatic. So those are the sections. And the reason why each letter is separated into sexes is because that leads on to the tone for the word that the letter is in. But sometimes you can have 2 letters with exactly the same sound, but slightly different, well, exactly, not slightly different different sexes. And all that does is it changes the tone. So here we go. So for instance, here is a p, that's a girl. And here is a p sound, that's a ladyboy. Similar in shape, but there's slight different variation. Here's a little loop things on the outside. Here are the loop things on the inside. So if I were to use this p sound, p, with a word like pie, I get a question tone, pie. But if I use this letter with exactly the same sound, I get a monotone, pie. So this one gives me pie, and this one gives me pie. Okay, that won't really mean anything to you just yet. So let's start off with just a minute. I want to get to lessons. Oh, where's lesson 7 gone? Oh, I reorganized everything this morning, and I think I've skipped over lesson 7. So we'll have to do this manually. And I'll fix the database. Okay, the first letter is what I call the meditating letter. We look very carefully. this is somebody who's doing a tantric meditation, and it's a lady boy. So she's got her leg looped around her waist and then going up around behind her neck. You know, it's kind of like that very contorted meditation thing that you do with yoga or yogic positions or tantra. And because it's something sort of sexual, it's a ladyboy. So it's an M sound in exactly the same way as meditation. So, in fact, I'll tell you what, start with this one. Nice big letters. Change the color to somewhat black. So, remember what that letter was? Open your mouth wider. Ah. Now, pronounce that sound.
Ma.
Ma. In fact, that's the word I explained to you earlier, meaning to come. Painai ma. Where have you just come from? Where have you been? Painai ma. Ma. Now, let me explain to you how the tone works. So, there's no tone mark here. So when there's no tone mark, what we have to do is listen to the ending sound of the word. So we're here on this right-hand side, the ending sound. And there's two ways a word can end. It can either not end, it could sing, like ma, or if I said something like ma, those are sounds that can continue in some kind of way. You can hum them, you can sing them. And another way a word can end is by being stopped, by being killed off, being cut off. So a word like pack is cut off, pack. You can't sing that sound, you can't continue. Once you get to the k or bob, you can't say bob. What's happened is something has shut off the air and it kills the sound. Or if it's a very short sound, like ha, or si, or the knights who say ni. You see, the sound gets cut off very, very quickly, very short. So it's dead. So the ending can either be a singing ending or a continuous ending, or it can be a dead cut-off ending. So in this case, is that a singing ending or a dead ending?
Singing.
That's ma. Right. So what we do is we're now in this little area here, this quadrant. And what's the sex of the first letter?
Ladyboy.
Ladyboy.
Ladyboy. So a ladyboy is monotone. Ma. So what I want to do is I want to show you the story that goes behind that. So just a minute while I load up. I forgot to load that particular picture.
Are all short vowels dead? Or even some short vowels can be singing?
No, short vowel by definition is dead because you cut it off.
Dead. Okay.
You cut it short. Yeah.
Perfect.
Obviously, if the word ends in a short vowel, then it's dead. But if the word ends in a singing, like mum, the vowel is short, but it ends in a sound, and that's singing, mum. But ma is short, but mum is singing, even though they're both short sounds. This is the one I was looking for. Right. So we're in a scenario where everybody is singing. So what this is, you know, the end of the year, you got these children's pantomimes, and everybody's singing and dancing, and the audience is kind of looking for their own kids, but they don't care about anybody else. So the dads, the dads who are biologically male, the boys and the lady boys, they're very bored by all this. I mean, they'd been dragged along to come and see their little brats perform and watch all the other kids do their little singing, dance, act, whatever it is, and all they really want to do is watch the sports on their TV or iPads or whatever it is, and say very bored. Oh, I'm so bored. I want to get out of here. I want to watch the football. I want to. But the mothers, they're up there singing and dancing on the stage with all the other kids, and everybody is kind of looking, say, why is she up there? What's she doing up there? This is a show for kids. You know, the mothers aren't supposed to be there. Why? So when you have a situation where everybody's singing, then the boys and lady boys are monotone, are boring monotone sounds, but the girls are a question. A why, how, what's she doing up there? Why isn't she down with all the other parents looking on? And you know, she's there cavorting and crying and dancing and singing with all the others. Why? Let me just load this. Oh, here we go. Okay, so when you have a word, I'll repeat this again, a word with no tone mark and the ending is singing, then the girl letters give you the question tone, why, and the boy and lady boy letters give you monotone. Is this all clear to you, by the way? You haven't got all tiny screens.
It's clear.
It's all clear, right? Good.
Yes.
Okay, I took a long time to explain the first one, but I think we can go a bit faster now. In fact, what are we doing for time? I'm gonna do one more and then we'll have a little bit of a break for tea or coffee. Put this there. Right, the next letter is what I call the 96 nail boots. You see, they're very similar in shape. The difference is that instead of the loop being on the left-hand side, you've got the loop on the right-hand. Let me show you a picture of that letter. Trying to get them all in the screen at the same. Okay, so over here, the mm sound is the loop on the left, and the mm sound, the N sound. And the story is that these are sadomasochists, and the masochist is upside down, suspended from the ceiling with head on the ground, and the masochist, the sadist, is stomping on the other lady boy's fingers with nail boots. You know, those big spiky boots that you use for football. So I call this the nail boots letter, the N sound. And another way of seeing this letter is it looks a little bit like 96. So there's a 9 there. Here's your 9 on the left, and then the right-hand side is the 6, 96. Now, we as healthy heterosexual boys and girls, we like the 69 position, but lady boys, being contrary, they like the 96 position. So that helps you to remember that they're lady boys because they like 96, not 69. Okay, so what's the next word? Nah, yes. And the tone is, oh, wait.
Monotone.
Yeah, boring.
Monotone.
Yeah, monotone. Yeah, because it's a singing ending, and basically it's the first letter that tells you what the sex is, the first consonant letter.
Yeah.
By the way, you know the difference between vowels and consonants, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Thai words are made up of always 2 components, a consonant, and sometimes the consonants might be 2 or more consonants stuck together, and sometimes there might be more than 1 vowel, but you always think of it as a package, consonant, vowel. So here we have the consonant, the 96 nail boots, and the vowel, na. So what if I stuck on that word? What's this word? Nam. Yeah. So it ends in a mm sound. What's the tone?
Monotone.
Monotone. It's the ending is sing, and the first letter is a lady boy, so it's monotone. Nam.
Is that nam the noun for water?
No, that's that's nam for water is actually an uncertain and it's spelled completely differently. It'll take us a while before we get to that word. What about this?
Nan. Nan.
Nan.
Nan.
Now, nan actually has a meaning. It means for a long time.
Yeah. Nan.
Yeah, and you have to say it for a long time. Nan. Nan. And it's a monotone. Nan.
Oh, nan.
And you all know where this is or what this is, right?
Nana.
Nana.
Na na, yeah. Na
Nana.
na. Famous place. Na basically means I think various or several. So what could also mean a rice field. It's not a common word. I think na in Bangkok is actually the name of a family who owned that area at one point.
Mhm.
But it could also mean maybe a variety of rice fields or something, who knows. Okay, we've done a lot in that. That wasn't all that interesting, but it's necessary to get those important things out the way. So let's have a little break and then we'll start learning some letters and words. So
How long?
10 minutes, no more than 10 minutes.
Okay, 10 nathi.
Time enough to have a coffee, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I figured out what was wrong with my app. I forgot to press the button that says go back a page.
Gary, quickly, did you send the link to download the app? 'Cause I didn't, maybe I missed it.
It's already in your account. You just go into your dashboard and you select Rapid Retry version 4. It's a new one.
Okay, I haven't gone into account yet, so.
Okay. I mean, I might have to still make sure that I've upgraded you, but there's nothing to download. It's just it's a website.
Gary, if I might, I saw something in the app that mentioned flashcards.
Yes.
Where can those flashcards be found?
Review, under review.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Is the app available on a phone or just on a website?
It has to be via a web. We started
Okay.
off by doing it. In fact, I started off by producing an Android app, and then both Google and Apple keep changing the fundamental technology underneath. And the developer just gave up. He says, you know, I've written the app. I've got to rewrite it 3 times already, and I still haven't finished it yet. So we decided let's get it working on the website first,
Gotcha.
and it works on any browser basically.
Okay.
And then later on, we can try to make it a dedicated iPhone or Android app. Anyway, so here we are. New letter. It's what I call the U-boat captain, because it looks like a U. And if you think of what a U-boat is, it's an Unterseeboot if you're German, and a U-boat if you're English, and it's a submarine. And the captains of submarines tend to be male. In fact, they're always, I've never heard of a single female submarine captain. Maybe Israeli, maybe Russian, but nowhere else. And it's a B sound, as in boat. So all you have to do is focus on the U shape and see it's a U-boat. So it's a B, very easy. Try not to think of it in terms of its English letter. It's the B sound as in boat. Think of it the boat letter, the U-boat letter. Because if you think of it in terms of the name of a picture, that gives you the sound more readily than the English letter, because English letters don't have a single sound. Sometimes English letters can have several sounds. I mean, like the word C-A-T, how do you pronounce C-A-T, right? C-A-T, C-A-T. Okay, now that you know that a boat, the U-boat letter, what's this word down here at the bottom? Yeah, and now actually I can arrange this a little bit more carefully. Right, so I mean, you've got this as reference, but I'll put it on the screen as well. So at the moment, we're only working with words that don't have tone marks, so it's nice and simple. We can move that across over there. There we go, nice and clear. So the ending is singing, and the first letter is What sex?
Male.
Male.
Right. So it's boy monotone. Ban. And a ban is to bloom or blossom. There is another word, which it's an obscure word. There's another word that's actually got the emphatic sound. Ban. And that means house. But this is just the boring, monotonous one with no tone. Ban. So don't confuse the two. Oh, I think I spoke too soon. Oh, there it is. Still got teething troubles, this app. Okay, so the U-boat captain decides to send out a spy balloon to look out for enemy ships. So it's the same kind of P sound, but inside a letter, inside a word in English. So like spy and supple. And the difference between a P letter in English and this particular P sound, spy sound, is a normal P has a kind of a breathy sound. You spit out air. Pa, pa, pa. And I'd like you to try this. Put your hand in front of your mouth and say, say pear. Pear. You feel a lot of air come out, right? Now say supple.
Supple.
Supple. Supple.
Supple.
If you're saying it right, there's no air comes out at the bull. Or if you say spy.
Bye.
There might be some air coming out for the S sound, but at the point of making the B sound, it's spy. It's kind of like a dry B, dry B. You kind of like explode it out. Ba. So it's a B sound as in spy or supple. And what I suggest to practice this is you kind of put your tongue in the position of an S sound before you actually make the sound. Ba. 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 That act of, in a sense, doing a kind of a run up, or like when you're playing golf, you kind of got to get yourself in balance before you actually do the swing. So the same thing here, you get your mouth in the position of an S, and then you produce the B sound. Ba. So what's the first? Yeah. Ba. Ba. And try to make sure there's no air comes out of your mouth when you say ba. It's not pa. Ba. Ba. And it's a singing sound. And the first letter is a boy. It's a U-boat captain.
Boy.
So it's boring. Ba. That means to pitch. To throw some pitch. Not a common word, but it's just a sound that we have to work on. How would you pronounce this word?
Ban.
And the tone is?
Monotone.
Singing boy monotone. Ban. Okay, very obscure word. That's all I could get at this level of letters that we know. This word you'll know. How do you pronounce this word?
Banana.
Not quite. What's this letter in the middle at the end?
Panama.
Panama.
Yeah, but you don't say it slowly like that. You say, sorry, you don't say it quickly. You say it slowly. Panama. Yeah, do you know where Panama is?
Central America.
Panama.
But you pronounce it Panama. And each syllable, and when you work on the tones, you figure out the tone for every single syllable, is singing boy, monotone, singing ladyboy, 96 nail boots, monotone, singing ladyboy, meditating ladyboy. So all monotone. Panama. Okay, we're just going to keep downloading these letters now.
So then you have to plan for the tone for every consonant. Is that correct?
Every syllable, every syllable.
Every syllable.
Yeah, because a syllable might have a consonant plus a vowel plus a consonant at the end.
I
What I
see.
call the final consonant, I call a tail end, a tail consonant. That doesn't feature in anything.
Okay.
The final tail consonant might tell you that that's a singing sound or dead sound. That's all it tells you. It doesn't. It doesn't. Otherwise, doesn't affect the tone. Okay. Now, same kind of shape as the U-boat captain, but now we've got this big curly thing here. So this is the captain's old mother, who has a huge big curl in her neck because she's old, bent over. So it's a k sound as in curl. K, 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 k.
K.
Just like our C.
K,
Curl, cat,
curl,
cow.
cow, curl.
But being a mother, being the captain's old mother, she's a girl, she's a lady. So that's going to affect the tone. So what's the first?
Ah,
Ka.
Ah,
Ka.
ah,
No, Steve, it's a singing girl. What's the tone for a singing girl?
Question tone.
Yeah,
person.
why?
Ah,
Why is she up there?
ka,
Ka.
Ka.
ah,
Why?
ka,
Ka.
So Steve, say, are you fine? Are you ka?
Are you ka?
There we go.
Ka.
Ka. And a ka is a leg.
ah,
Ka.
ka, jet.
And or it could actually be like a leg of there's another, in English, we don't say a leg, we say like a tripod or support. So a leg of a table, for instance, is also a leg, but also a partner in a card game is the other. Kind of makes sense. Oh, oops, wait.
Guy.
Yeah, this is like an upside down U. And it looks a little bit like a bird, right? See the beak of the bird there? So now I call this a cockerel, but Americans don't have cockerels, they have roosters. So just call it a male chicken. Raina, you knew what a cockerel is, right?
yes. Mhm.
Okay, so it's a cockerel because it's got that. The reason why cockerel is a cockerel. It's the same sort of thing, like, or you can think of it as a chicken in the sky. The same thing that we had with spy. So again, no air comes out. Not like the C sound. The captain's old mother. But cockerel, no sound. So ga is what tone?
Monotone.
Monotone.
Singing boy, monotone. Right. Can you read the text that size? It's
Yes.
okay. It looks fine for me, but I'm just not sure about you. Okay. And you got the tone. It's a singing. The final sound is a singing sound. So singing boy makes it monotone. It's not a very common word. It's a very formal word for eroticism, erotic.
Ghana.
Yeah, you know where Ghana is.
Yeah, Africa. Ghana.
Ghana. So again, both of them are two syllables. Both of them are singing monotone. Singing boy, singing lady. So they're both monotone. Ghana. It wasn't this slow before. I don't know what's going on.
Maybe
5
because you're
o'clock,
on
slow
Zoom.
down.
Zoom is resource hog too sometimes.
Maybe, but I think it's an internet thing. But yeah, I'll have to check this out. It's something we're working on. It's still teething, still work in progress. Anyway, now we have a tantric. So it must be a ladyboy because the ladyboys are into tantra and sex and depravity. And the way you see this is, you see there's the head peeking out of its shell. There's the shell over there. The shell, the head peeking, and it's a T sound like in tantra or tantric or turtle or tortoise. Very easy to remember. So first
Ah.
word,
Ta.
ta.
Ah,
Yeah, I think you guys have got it quickly, right? It's a singing ladyboy, so it's monotone. And that has two meanings. It means to like apply something, like when you paint something or you coat something. So even when you apply cream to your face, tar cream or tar si means color or it means paint. So tar.
Ta.
Sorry, say it again.
Tan.
That's a 96 nail boots at the end. Did you say n or m, Robert?
Ma.
It's a 96 nail boot. See,
Oh, okay.
there's two figures here, one up, one down.
Okay. Tan.
Or think of it as 96.
Okay. Tan. Tanahan.
Right. Look at the difference between these two letters there. You see,
Yeah.
or if we're all going to suffer from dyslexia, by the way. And the only way to resolve that is to always think of the picture and to describe the picture in your mind. Say, what is that? Is that a 96 nail boots or is it a meditating ladyboy? So there we go. 96 nail boots. Tan. Tan is a very polite way of saying to eat. Normally the regular way of saying to eat is gin. Tan is like to partake of. But what is interesting is that if you go to McDonald's, for instance, and they ask you, do you want to eat here or do you want to take out or take home? They will say, tan ni mai. Do you want to partake of your meal here on the premises? You know, like it's some sort of high-end joint. And they use the word tani mai. And you say, no, mayak tani kapan. I want to take it back home with me. Not many words yet. Right, this one is an unforgettable word. It's a well-hung ladyboy. And it's got the same as the ng in hung, which is easy for us to say at the end of a word. But at the beginning of a word, we don't have any words in English that start. Yeah, so the trick is to linger on the sound while you are creating the shape of the vowel with your mouth. So you know, like how bagpipes work. It's got like the drone part. So you get that part to go. And then the vowel is a tune. So you get your mouth in the shape of the vowel while you're going. And then when you're ready, you then launch into the vowel. So what's the first?
Nan.
Yeah, linger.
Nan.
And ngan is work. Tamngan. And the tone is ladyboy
Monotone.
singing ladyboy, so it's boring. Monotone. Ngan.
What does it mean?
Work.
Yeah.
Yeah. You really need to practice resting, lingering on the sound, and don't rush into the word until your muscle gets the strength and dexterity to be able to do it quickly. Yeah, linger. In fact, another way would be to make the vowel shape first and then make the sound. Yeah, then it comes out right. Ngam is a poetic way of saying beautiful. Yes, yeah. Normally it's combined with suai, which is beautiful. So sway ngam. So ngam is a more formal, poetic, flowery way of saying pretty.
ภาษาลาวด้วย
Pasalaด้วย.
Um,
This one's easy. Tang. Yeah. So all monotones singing ladyboys. Tang. Tang is way.
อ่า
So way
Way-
out, way out,
Uh-huh.
way in.
Yeah.
Tang cow,
เดิ
tang
นทาง
off. One way, tang nung. Two ways, song tang.
ไปทางนี้
Yeah, go this way.
Bang.
Bang. Yes, bang. U-boat captain
อ่า
with the ending with the well hung ladyboy. And that just means some. Bang.
Nga.
Yeah. Nga. Also singing
Nga.
ladyboy monotone. And nga
อ่า
actually has two meanings, but the most common meaning is sesame.
อ่า
But we're going to be learning the Chang 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 song, and nga is also Rekwa nga is the hiosai Rekwa nga, the trunk.
อ่า
Tusk.
Guinyaban. I order all the time. Banana and sesame.
Oh, sesame sauce. Yeah.
Yeah. No, banana and sesame shake.
Oh, right.
Ban. Guinyaban.
Ban means to mix together.
Yeah.
Ban. With
ban.
spelt with the spy balloon. Ban.
Ah. Mm.
Okay, we've done that. Oh. Okay, I have to finish the lesson first. So I've actually got to watch the video before it lets me go to the next lesson. Oh, and we're stuck. Now what? It's always risky doing an update. Okay. No, we should be on lesson 15 now. Oh, that's the problem. Okay. Let's see if it says finished, completed. Sorry about this. It's not quite sure what's going on here. Got to finish lesson 14 first. Okay, let me just restart the thing. Let's just see if that helps.
My partner is trying to tell me that from the Thai perspective, some consonants can make all 5 tones and some can only make 3 tones. Do those categories line up with the boy,
Yes.
girl, lady, boy categories? Yes. Okay.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
But
Got it.
we don't learn that because
Okay.
it doesn't matter.
Perfect.
You know, in fact,
Mhm.
according to the rapid method, any letter can make any tone. We're not interested in writing Thai or composing Thai or creating Thai. The focus is, or the priority is to understand.
Mhm.
So we read something, we don't know if it's spelled right or not. We assume that the Thai person knows enough Thai.
Yeah.
and interesting enough, I have noticed that a lot of Thai people always spell things wrong, and here I am, a bloody foreigner, telling them how to spell their own language.
Yeah, I've encountered that too, because sometimes when he's telling me something, I ask him to spell it because I'm not confident that I can hear the difference, and then he'll tell me he doesn't know how to spell it.
This was basically the same method that I used to learn to read 2 of the Japanese syllabaries.
Well hung ladyboy. We'll easily say
Yeah,
this
yeah.
because it's very common.
I tried to do that for Japanese also, actually. But Japanese actually is in some way much more complicated.
Was for me.
Okay.
Vowel that follows it.
There we go. Yeah, I had actually had my version of the app, all the lessons unlocked, but we've just reset everything. And now, now I'm forced to go through the app myself. Right. I'm going to introduce a new vowel to you, which is actually an invisible vowel. And it always appears between 2 consonants. So if you have 2 consonants and you don't see any vowel, like an ah vowel, then you know it must be the invisible o vowel. So it's pronounced o. And it kind of rhymes with naught, but it's very short. It's a very short, abrupt sound. No, not. I mean, naught in English is a long sound, but make it very short, very, very, very short. Oh, oh, oh. Let me just hear you say it, because it's getting the vowels right is quite tricky.
Oh, oh, oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Okay.
Oh,
So, what's the
Gong.
first word? There's the invisible, because there's no vowel that you can see. I mean, we only had 1 vowel so far, but that vowel
Oh.
isn't there. Therefore, it must be the invisible o between these 2 consonants. How do you pronounce that word?
Gong.
Gong,
gone,
gong.
gong,
Gong. Yeah.
Gong.
And the tone is singing at the end.
gone,
And the first letter
Monotone.
is a boy, so it's monotone. Gong.
yeah,
gong,
gone,
That's something that turns, that's round, it rotates. So anything to do with a
And-
wheel or a circle.
Also the musical instrument, or that's a different
No,
word in
that's
Thai?
that's glong. Glong.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, what very often happens is Thais don't enunciate the second letter that are, so it sounds like gong. Same thing, you know, blah sometimes doesn't sound like blah, sounds like ba. Or krap doesn't sound like krap, sounds like kap.
Mhm.
And when we get to those letters, I'll explain to you why that is. It's a physical thing in the mouth, actually. What's this word? That's slightly different from what you used to.
Con.
con,
Yeah, we've got the captain's old mother with the curl,
mhm,
invisible
Oh.
o,
Oh,
and the 96
con.
notes.
gone,
Con.
con,
Well done. Yeah, the singing girl.
gone,
All got that?
Can you repeat that, please, Gary?
gone,
Okay, the ending is the 96 notes, which is a singing sound. Okay, so first letter,
gone,
first consonant letter is a girl. It's a captain's old, so the tone is a question. Why? Con,
gone,
con, and con is fur.
gone,
Fur or hair on your body. So for an animal, it means fur, but for your human, it's the hair on your body as opposed to the hair on your head.
Calm.
Say again.
Calm.
calm,
The invisible vowel is very short. Oh,
com,
com,
com. Yeah.
com,
And the tone for com is what?
Question.
Co.
Question. So it's a singing girl again. So it's com.
Con.
com,
com,
Hang on a sec. I've got to take this. This is Erin, the tutor. She's probably having trouble with the. Yeah. I'm in a workshop. I'll talk to you later. Okay, it wasn't important. Yeah, we run. She's running her thing on at the same time. I'm running this workshop, so it's a little bit of coordination to do. I say so. Com again, singing girl like com, and that's bitter. Com, com.
Is it com or com?
Com.
Com.
Oh, 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 oh. Com.
Com. We'll chat com.
Okay, this is hard to say.
Ngok. Ngok.
Nyok.
No.
Nyok.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to skip that word because it's difficult on several levels.
Nyok. Okay.
Ngong.
No.
No.
Ngong.
Raina's got it. Yeah.
Young.
Ngong.
Young.
Ngong.
Young.
Ngong.
Ngong. Singing lady voice is monotone. Ngong means to be confused.
Young.
Ngong mai. Ngong mai.
Young. Music young.
รู้สึกงง
No.
Ngom.
Ngom, also monotone.
Yum. Yum.
Okay, this is a very common word.
Nom.
Nom.
Now, what's the tone?
Nom. Monotone.
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 Yeah, Steve.
Monotone.
Yeah, you understand that now,
Nom.
right? Nom,
Nom.
not nom. Nom.
Nom.
Nom is milk or breasts,
Nom.
which is where milk comes from.
Nom yai.
Nom yai, yes. And another very common word.
Bon.
Bon.
Yeah.
Bon.
Make the vowel very
Bon.
short, not bon. Bon.
Bon.
Bon.
Bon.
Bon, which is
Bon.
on. Bon.
Bon.
Nom, bon, to. The milk is on the table.
On top of
Yeah.
one.
The last one, not such a common word.
Bon.
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 One.
Yeah,
Bun.
it's to mix. Not the same as
Bun.
bun, but it's kind of the same.
Bon.
To mix, adulterate. More to adulterate. You know, when you've got some sort of fly in the ointment kind of thing. That sense of, you know,
Bun.
something as there's another word for adulterate.
Contaminate.
Yeah, contaminate. Yeah, it's contaminate. Okay, so that's the invisible oh.
Oh, one. Count.
Okay, let's take a break because then I'm going to move on to this next section here where we deal with dead words.
10 minutes again?
10 minutes, yeah. 7:15, so 17:25. Okay. Now what happens when the word is, and there's again two ways a word can be dead. One is it can end with a consonant that cuts off the sound, or it can end with a cut off. So b is a dead sound, and a or I or u are very short, dead, cut off sounds. Okay, so if it's a boy or girl, then the tone is sad, which is the case over here. So read this word.
Gob.
Yeah, it's oh, not o, oh.
Gob.
Gob.
Oh.
Go.
Gob.
Go.
Gob.
Go.
No, Robert. What's the last? What's the picture for the last?
That's the meditate. No, it's the uncle's. What is it?
It's gonna
U-boat.
the U-boat. Yeah,
U-boat.
the U-shape U-boat. U-boat.
Okay.
In fact, I have another version of this thing. Where did I put it? Here it is. Yeah, if it were the meditating letter, then it would be a singing ending.
Yeah.
But it's not a sing. You boat. That's not a meditate. It's a you boat. But. So it's gop.
Cool.
Gop.
Okay.
And a dead boy, in this case, boy is a sad tone. Oh dear. Oh, because it's gop, it's oh shit. Ah, gop. Oh, gop.
Oh,
Oh, gop. Gop.
God.
Gop. Gop. There's hardly any difference between those two monotones, the regular monotone and the kind of the sad monotone. But it's, you'll only really notice a difference comparatively. Like if I said, oh dear, then you can hear the difference. So not all that. A gop, by the way, is a frog. Or it also means, if you're a carpenter, that thing that shaves off the top part, a plane. I don't know exactly what it is in English. But... Oh, now, yeah, this is pronounced top.
Top.
But it's a ladyboy. Okay, it's a tantric turtle. So now we've got to do one more thing. This is the only time it ever matters. We have to check and see if the vowel is a long vowel or a short vowel. So a fat ladyboy is emphatic, is exciting, is energetic. So a fat ladyboy is a long vowel. And a thin ladyboy is uncertain. What? So let me tell you the story behind all this first. Oh, where did it go? There we go. So basically, everyone goes to a disco and they're all tanked up on drugs and they're all OD, they're all die. The boys and the girls, they just die and you just feel sad for them. Ah, boys and girls, what do we care? Just feel a bit sad for them. Thoughts and prayers, so what? But ladyboys, they always do things in a contrary way. The fat ladyboy, because it takes a while for the drug to take effect, they die in a very agonizing manner. And they go, I'm dying. Make a big song and dance about dying. And the thin ladyboy just dies very suddenly in a very surprising manner and looks at herself and says, what the fuck? I'm a ghost? What happened? So the situation is dead boys and girls, you just feel sad for them. Fat ladyboys, they die in an emphatic, melodramatic manner. And thin ladyboys, they get surprised. What? Uncertain, confused. What? So what have we got here? We've got a lady. And is it a fat or thin ladyboy?
Thin.
And for that, you got to look at the
Thin.
Thin or fat?
Thin.
Where's the vowel?
It's the invisible O. So is O a long fat sound or is it a short thin sound?
Short, thin
Short,
sound.
thin.
So it's the short, thin ladyboy, the uncertain. What? So this becomes top,
Top.
top.
Up,
What? Top,
up,
top.
up.
Stop.
And top is to fold over, double over like a piece of paper.
Stop. Stop.
Top,
Up.
there's some background sound there. Can you hear the noise? There's a pump outside going. Can you hear that? Okay. I can hear it. It's irritating. Okay, what's this word here?
Cob.
Cock.
Okay, good.
Oh yeah.
Raina, you did something wrong. What
Yeah.
is the last letter?
Gagai.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. You can learn the names of the Thai names of the letters later. And it's very easy, actually, because most of them are just common words like chicken, child, bottle, monk, fish. So by the time we've gone through the rapid course and you've learned a lot of words, and you start learning the names of the letters in the Thai alphabet, you'll say, I already know these words, so it's not a big deal. And the only time you ever really need to know the names, the Thai names of the letters, is when you're actually spelling something out. How do you spell your name, for instance? Or can you spell that to me? Because I'm not sure I heard that right. So anyway, so this is Tantric Turtle. The ending is dead because of the chicken is a dead sound, and the first letter is a ladyboy. And now we have to do one more step, a third step, and check the vowel. And is a long or fat vowel, so it's emphatic. Tak. Tak. That's a slug. Tak. Yeah, I know some of these words in the beginning are a little bit obscure because it's the only words I can find with the letters that we know. But as we progress, I'll focus on the words that you really do need to know. Now, this is an interesting word. There's two words, actually, two words. And in fact, I'm going to start introducing this concept of what do you do when there's more than one word strung together without any spaces. But let's see if you can figure it out for yourself at the moment. Yeah. Do you notice that there's two words? The first word is just ta, and the next word is pa. Now, why is it not ta and then ak? Well, Thai words must always have at least one consonant and one vowel, and then maybe a tail end consonant at the end. So when you look at this, you see that there's a vowel here that must be attached to some consonant, and therefore it must be this consonant over here.
It's always after the consonant?
Not always, not always. It's the consonant, the vowel could be anywhere, could be all around. But in this case, this vowel, it belongs to this consonant. And so therefore, if you work backwards, this must be the word over here, ta, because we've already used up this consonant for the following word, you see what I mean? You can't share consonants in the Thai language. Every consonant has its own word, as it were. So one of the interesting things you have to do in Thai is you've almost got to work backwards. You've got to look ahead like you look in chess, and then work your way backwards, and then sort of decide what it is.
This particular vowel is always on the right?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. And when I show you how the vowels work, you'll notice that the vowels have a specific position. It could be left, top, right, or bottom, but they all have their own unique position. So the right-hand vowels are always on the right-hand side. So when you see this R vowel, you know it must be connected to a consonant immediately before it, because it's always a right-hand vowel.
Yeah. But like my first name, Robert, you have Sala, you have O in the first.
Oh, Ro, yeah. So I'll just quickly show it to you.
R, Ro, to me.
Yeah. So there's your R sound, but the vowel is on the left-hand side. But even though the vowel's on the left-hand side, in fact, it looks like the R shape as well, but it's just longer. Even though it's on the left-hand side, you always start by pronouncing the consonant. And then you say whatever the vowel is, wherever it is. So you don't actually read quite from left to right in Thai. You hop to the consonant, whatever the consonant is, and then you do a bit of a circle, and you look around, say, okay, it's the R sound followed by the O. So it's Robert. But let me illustrate something to you. I don't know if I did this in the previous one. We do this the same in English, where we're not even aware of it. How do you pronounce that word?
Plan.
Plan. What about this word?
Plain.
How did you know it wasn't plane?
Just know the word.
Yeah, you work backwards. You looked ahead and you saw the E there. This is so subconscious and it happened so quickly you weren't even aware of it. But you saw the E there ahead, and they said, oh, okay, that changes the A to an A sound. And then I throw away the E. So that makes planet plane.
Mhm.
How do you pronounce that word?
Planet.
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 Yeah, so you looked at this word and you say, okay, that changes the a to an a, but we're going to undo that and cancel the exception and bring it back to, and it happens so quickly that you just say, oh, I know the word. No. And of course, yes, by the time you do develop a vocabulary, you do just recognize that as a word. So it's the same thing in Thai. In English also, you kind of reading ahead and then back and changing things and then reading forwards and then and Thai the same thing. And the trick is to think of every Thai word as like a stepping stone across a river or a stream, and the consonants are the actual stone embedded in the stream, and then the vowels are attached around the consonant. So you kind of, if this is the stream over here, you hop onto the consonant, and then you look around to see what the vowel is, and then you hop onto the next consonant, and you look around, and basically it's hop, look around, hop, look around, hop, look around. And that's how you read words in a Thai sentence, by hopping, circle, hop, circle, hop, circle, hop, circle. So it's kind of a roundabouty way of slowly progressing forwards, but you don't strictly read from left to right. You go in a generally left to right direction, but you kind of jump back a little bit and go forward a little bit in a circle, as it were, or a kind of a wiggle rather than a circle. So anyway, so where were we? Ta, pa. Right. So what's the tone for ta?
Monotone.
Monotone. It's the singing
monotone. Yeah.
ladyboy monotone. Ta. And what's the tone for pa?
Fat
Monotone.
lady boy. Emphatic.
What's this letter here?
Bad.
Oh, but
What's
it's a
six?
boy. Sad.
Bad. Ta, pa. Oh, shit. Oh, dear. Ta, pa.
Oh,
Ta.
sad.
Do you remember what ta was, by the way? To paint, to apply. And park is a mouth. So what do you think ta
To-
park means?
To kiss.
No, to apply.
Lipstick.
To
Oh,
paint,
lipstick.
paint your lips, yeah. Put on lipstick. Now, one other thing I haven't mentioned yet, very important in Thai, is that Thais do not enunciate the final sounds of letters when we're talking about dead letters. So in English, we would say park, like a park. We'd say park. And you can hear that kind of explosion of air, park. But in Thai, what you do is you just clamp down your whole mouth on the final letter and just hold it. Kind of like freeze frame. Park. You don't say park. You say park. And you stop, you see? So you don't say ta park. You say ta park. And you don't actually hear the g sound, but you do hear a kind of a silence, a pause. In the same way, we do have this in English, in a couple of words. For instance, how do you pronounce that word in English?
Bookkeeper.
Keeper.
Yeah, you don't say book, you say bookkeeper.
Bookkeeper.
But how do you pronounce that word?
Bookkeeper.
Bookkeeper.
Yeah, you'd have to actually pronounce the k. Bookkeeper, as opposed to a bookkeeper. And they're totally two different types of people. A bookkeeper is a keeper of books, and a bookkeeper is an accountant. And what about this?
Bookkeeper.
A boo-keeper, yeah, boo-keeper. So the same thing applies in Thai. The final dead consonant sounds in Thai are not enunciated, but you clamp down on them. You do actually put your mouth in the shape or the position of whatever the letter is, but you just stop and hold. Like shaken but not stirred, as Mr. Bond used to say. So, tapak, put on lipstick. What's that word?
Now,
No.
What's a vowel?
oh,
Oh,
No.
Oh, yeah, the short oh.
No.
No?
no.
No.
Yeah, Raina
No.
said it right by accident because she
No.
was uncertain. Do I have I pronounced it correctly? It's knock, right? Knock. Okay, now it's a dead sound, dead
No.
ending. So you were in here with the disco drugs. Everyone overdoses on the drugs. And the first letter is a 96 nail boots. That's a lady boy.
Mhm.
thin
And now
lady
you have
boy.
to look at the vowel, and it's short or thin. It's uncertain. Knock.
No.
No,
Are you sure? Are you sure it's a knock?
No.
no,
Knock. And then knock is a bird.
Mhm.
You know that airline? Knock
Mhm.
air. Knock air. Oh yeah.
Chilean Paliapo.
And by the way, key, which we won't be able to do for a while. Key means shit. So key knock is bird shit. Key knock.
No.
But that also in slang in Thai means to be cheap. Cheap, stingy.
Mm.
Konfarang, key knock, mark. Konfarang, they got bird shit. They spend their money like bird shit, like little bits at a time. Key knock.
แล้วแต่ชัด
What's
but,
yeah, Steve, slowly.
but,
It's a dead boy. So what's the tone?
but,
Oh,
Yeah, Steve, not but, bot.
but,
Oh, sound, bot. Bot is a kind of a literary word. It means chapter. Bot, sad sound, bot. So if you read a book, when you get to the stage of reading a book, it'll be bot ti nung, first chapter, bot ti song, second chapter, bot ti sam, third chapter.
It's almost a D sound. What?
Say again?
It's almost like a, rather than a T, it's almost like a D.
Well, the position of your tongue isn't exactly the same, but you don't enunciate it. So it's not, you don't say bot. It's
Yeah.
bot.
What?
Yeah, the position of your tongue is exactly the same in both positions. Both. No, sometimes it's on one's pressing against the top teeth, the other's pressing at the bottom teeth, something like that. But it's bot. It's a sad bot. What about this one? Yeah, same pattern. It's a dead boy. And when they're boys or girls, we don't care whether the vowel is long or short. So it's sad. Bark. I'll start to give you some of the mnemonics as we go. This is not a very common word, so I won't bother. But bark being a chip or a notch. If you think you notch a bark of the wood. This everyone knows this word.
bad,
but,
bad.
Oh, like Thai bot.
Yeah, but what's the tone?
Sad. No, it's long. No, it doesn't matter. Sad.
Well done. Yeah, it's not bad. It's bad. Bad.
Bad.
and that's the bot for money.
Yeah, but you pronounce it bad. Long. You pronounce it the long ah and a sad tone. Bad. Sip bad. Si bad. 100 bad. 20 bad.
Bad.
Okay, we've had this word already. In fact, I should have changed the order around a little bit. Park is mouth. Sad boy. Park. What about this one? This one's quite different.
Mag.
Bad.
Yeah,
Lady
but what's the
boy.
tone? What's the tone?
Bad.
Mag.
Yeah, well done. It's a dead lady boy that's fat. Mark.
A lot, right?
A lot, yeah, much, very.
Oh, Aroy Macmac.
Ah, there we go.
But people
Mark.
say it short. They say it quickly though. Yeah, tricky.
Yeah, when you start speaking fast and fluently, you tend to contract things. So that's why in the beginning you've got to exaggerate the difference. Mark, Mark. And of course, when you're saying them, when two of them together, very interesting about Thai is they tend to double things up a lot. So they either take the same word and they say it twice, like Mark, Mark, or Swai, Swai, or Pang, Pang, or they take two words with the same meaning and they put them together, like Non, Lap, Sleep, Sleep. Mong do, dude, look. Sap Aroy, Sap Aroy. Sap is Isan for delicious, and Aroy is Thai for delicious. So Sap Aroy is doubly delicious. And I find that quite fun about Thai, actually, that they don't seem to like to use just one word. It's always got to double it up. Mark.
Paka.
Paka.
Yeah, what's the tone?
Paka.
Sad.
Sad. Paka. Paka.
Uh,
Like a fountain pen. Paka.
Yes, yes.
Paka.
So this is like the opposite of oh dear, right? Because this is dear. Oh,
Exactly. But,
that's
what
harder to do.
Yeah, let me
I
think
think.
about how would we say that in English. Oh, good. No. Yeah. It's the opposite. Paka, paka, paka. And paka is a pen. And easy to remember because there's a very famous pen, which is a paka. The paka pen. You remember the paka pens?
was it a borrowed word?
Parker, yeah, it's probably a borrowed pen. Like in Britain, we don't call them pens either. We call them Bics.
Bics and Parker pen. Okay.
Yeah, because a Bic is a. Do you have Bics in the US?
Sure.
We do, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What do you call pens? You call them.
We call them pens. Yeah.
call them pens. Yeah. No, we say in England, we say, hey, can you give us a Bic, please? The Paka, same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember there was a way of doing a dear O.
It's kind of thinking like if you have steps, or you say 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of, I don't know.
I'll try to remember what the pattern that I had that we say in English, something like that. But the opposite of oh dear, basically. Okay, good. So that's the dead tones. Right. How much time have we got? Good amount of time. This is an interesting letter. It's a dual purpose letter. In fact, it's a 3-in-1 letter. I'll tell you the third usage later. But this one is another vowel, a right-hand vowel, like the ah vowel. But this time it's the awesome vowel. So I usually calibrate this. This is an American sound. So for who's not American here? Are you all Americans?
Yeah, all of us, I guess.
For Canadians. Okay, so for you, it's the awesome sound.
Awesome.
You know, like you say law or awesome.
Awful.
Awful. Yeah. So if you start with the ah sound, that's the widest your mouth can go. And the awesome is slightly smaller. That's all. Ah.
Oh.
And let me load up the vowel shapes. Oh, I didn't. I thought I had. Just a minute. Oh, that's right. It's right down at the bottom.
Cold.
Okay, we're going to be doing these vowel exercises at some point, but just quickly in the mean, starting from number 4. Number 4 is the shape of your mouth when you say ah. And the awesome sound is slightly smaller. More round.
Okay.
And in fact, there are only about 9 shapes, 8.5 shapes in the Thai language anyway, and for the vowels. So despite the fact there's something like 30 odd vowels, there are only 8.5 shapes. And if you know those shapes, then you can speak accurately, really. And it's very much like a trombone. You know, trombone doesn't have things like holes with like a recorder, or a guitar has got frets, or a violin, there's no lines, as it were. So you physically have to memorize the muscle shape of these 8 shapes of your mouth. And then all you do is you get into the right shape, and whatever sound comes out is the vowel. So ah,
Oh.
e, oo, etc. Okay, so there's the ah vowel, which is the biggest shape, and then there's the awesome vowel, which is also a right-hand vowel. See, they're both right-hand vowels.
Yeah.
The square thing represents a consonant, and it's slightly rounder shape from the ah. Okay, so first word.
Kong.
Mhm.
Oh.
Gong.
Yeah, it's a long sound, so it's an awesome sound. Gong, gong. And singing boy,
Monotone.
monotone.
Kong.
Oh.
Gong, gong. So if you go to the market, you'll often find a pile of vegetables or fruit on a plate or something like that, and they'll say gong, per gong, per pile, 20 baht or 5 baht, or a pile of eggs maybe, gong la, or pile of apples, gong. What's this word?
Caw.
Caw. But
Yeah.
it is a girl. Caw.
It's a singing girl. Yes, well done.
Singing girl.
So say the tone.
Kong. Call.
No, question tone.
Call.
Caw.
Car,
Caw.
car. Are you fine? Are you car?
Call.
And that means literally means to beg,
Call.
but it's used to mean could I please?
Call.
Car, cafe. Can I please have a coffee? I beg you for a coffee is what it means literally. But
Call
car means could I please have a coffee?
Call menu.
Car, yeah, and you got to make it with a question tone. Car menu ได้ไหม?
Call do menu นะครับ Kong. Kong.
Caw.
So what's the tone for Kong? I've said that with a monotone, but it isn't a monotone. Okay, the ending is a singing sound. So we're here.
Yeah.
And the first letter is a girl.
Girl. So question. Kong.
That's it. Kong. And Kong has 2 meanings. One is it's a thing.
Yeah.
So Kong Len is a plaything.
Kong.
Len means to play.
Kong
Kong
Kwan.
Len is a play. It's a toy.
Kong Kwat. Kong Fat.
Yeah. It also means of, like possession. So motorcycle, Kong Pom, the motorcycle of me. So my motorbike, motorcycle Kong Pom, or motorcycle Kong Pom, motorcycle Kong Chan, or Ban, my house, Ban Kong. And very often when you say that, you can sort of drop the Kong. Also, you could say Ban Pom, Ban Chan. You can sort of leave out the of, and it's implied. It's my house, my car. But also, if you go out and buy things, Sir car, that means to go shopping. Where are you going? I'm by Sir Kong. Pai nai? Pai nai? Where are you going? Pai Sir Kong. I'm going to go buy things. I'm going to go shopping. That's what you do when you shop. You buy things. You buy things, material things, when you go shopping.
Caw.
Caw.
Yeah, what's the tone for car?
Sad.
Question.
ขอบ
Call.
It's a well. What's the ending, Robert? What's the ending?
Oh,
dead
it's
or singing?
It's dead.
เอ่อ
Steve. Yeah, sorry, it was you, Steve.
It's dead.
Yeah, it's dead. So you now hear with the disco,
Girl
the
dead,
overdose.
sad. Call.
Carb.
อ๋อ
ขอบ
Yeah, carb is the edge of something. Not such an important word.
งอ
No.
no
It's a singing, and what's a six? Raina?
Ladyboy.
Well hung lady boy.
It's a lady boy, monotone. Nga.
no
Oh, lady boy. Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You-
I
How
knew
did-
what it was. I just
How did you miss
missed
that?
my-
How did you miss
Yeah.
that? Even if you thought it was a boy, it still would have got a
Yeah,
monotone.
yeah.
Nga.
งอ
Nga is to kind of be bendy, so not important word.
how is that different like rambutan no
Nga. Nga.
no
That's a
No.
short oh.
short
And then
Okay.
because it's short, it's now uncertain. Nga.
no okay
Yeah, we'll come back to that later. It's a very complicated vowel. That. Nga.
no okay
Well,
No.
no
And it
No.
is lady boy, long, fat,
Dead lady boy.
Dead.
Because the ending's dead.
no no
emphatic.
knock
And
No.
it's a
Uncertain.
long sound. So yeah.
No.
Knock.
knock
Knock.
งอ
Knock is to sprout. So like bean sprouts. Again, not important.
ตัวนอกตัวนอก
Gonna be the same. Nong.
No, because it's a singing ending.
Oh.
So now we switch to the other scenario, whether
Yeah.
the pantomime.
Non.
So now it becomes
Oh.
monotone because it's a singing ladyboy.
Non.
งอ
น้อง
Yeah, keep the vowel long. Ngon,
Non.
น้อง
ngon. It's a 96 nail
Ngon.
boots at the end,
นอน
and that means just sulk. Ngon. Hey, don't worry so much about the meanings of the words. That'll come later when you do the flashcards. I'm just kind of mentioning them to you as a kind of interesting side effect, so that they're not just random sounds.
Mhm.
Sometimes we'll try to help you remember some important words. Unimportant words, just sounds at the moment.
Tom.
อ๋อ
Yeah, this is a kind of an important word. It means gold.
ทอง
Tom.
อ๋อ
So
Oh,
you'll see this, if you go to the Chinatown or you go to the downtown, you'll see these jewelry stores. Basically, they're places that sell gold, and at the top it'll be something to do with tong.
ทอง
Tong. This is an important word.
ต่อ
Nog,
No.
which is lady boy, long. Nog.
Yeah, lady, that's
No.
fat. Emphatic. Knock.
นอก
Knock
No.
means out.
ออกข้างนอก
Like
นอกไป
And
นอก
knock is outside.
บ้านนอก
But knock out, yeah.
countryside บ้านนอกนอก
Now look at the difference between right. Pronounce these two words for me. Oh, sorry.
Nog.
น
น
อ
อก กน
น
อ
อก กนก
Nog.
Yeah, well done, Raina. The first
Oh,
word is the fat lady boy that's dead. So it's emphatic. Knock. But the
Oh.
second one is the dead lady boy that's thin. Uncertain. Knock.
นกน
Do
ก
you remember what knock was?
เบิร์ด
Bird, like knock
Yeah.
air or key knock. So you see what happens? We just change the vowel from a long R to a short
น
O.
ก
Oh, by the way, the difference between the R and the O, the invisible O, is even smaller. So we start with ah, and then ah, and then O. O. See what's happening to my mouth? Ah,
Oh.
oh,
นก
oh. Basically these are the three vowels we've done so far. And by the way, Robert,
Yeah.
your one is a long version of the invisible oh. So it's Robert,
But
Robert. So the invisible oh, and when we get to the coat hanger, it'll be just a long version of the invisible oh. Oh, but with a smaller oh, sorry. Oh.
Non.
Dawn.
Non,
Well done. Yeah.
non,
Singing ladyboy, some monotone. Non.
non,
Non means to sleep, or
Yeah.
literally it means to lie down. So normally you lie down and sleep. Non lap.
non min, non.
Yeah. Or just if you, also if you just want to lay something down. Non.
Non nhai. Non nhai.
I've got a big package. Mi patsadu. Oh, non dai nai. Just put it down. Lay it down. Non. That's a useful word to know. Non. Also another useful word to know.
Oh.
Fog.
Robert, you got it right. Raina, say it again.
Fog.
Yeah. I'm actually hearing a kind of a G sound at the end. Just best if you just clamp down. Bark. With a bit of energy, actually, you push down at the back of your throat. Bark. And just hold it there. Bark. So
Bark.
like bookkeeper. Bark.
Fog.
Yeah, but make it a long R. Bark.
Fog.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, I can hear that now. In the beginning, I didn't hear it so well. You almost hear the not sound, the absence of sound.
Mhm.
When it's suddenly cut dead, you just suddenly hear silence, and then you know it's one of those. Doesn't always different consonants might even have the same non-sound, but you can usually figure out what it is. So bark means to speak, to say. Sorry, means to say.
บอก
Yeah,
บอกแล้ว
bark loud. Yeah, I said it. I said it already. I'm not going to repeat it. This word here.
มอ
บอก
Yeah. Singing ladyboy, not an important word, it just means somber. But this is a kind of useful word.
มอง
มองมอง
Keep the vowel long.
Mong.
And that means to look. So mong do is to look.
มองง่าย
Mong do.
มอง
Mong.
มองเห็นมอง
Mong hen. Yeah, hen is to see. So I to look and see. Are you're gonna
Yeah,
come?
exactly.
Yeah, I'll just have a look see. We said the same in English. You're gonna come over to the party? I'll just come over a short while and have a look see.
But what's always still confuse me sometime when you say มอง or do.
You can say either or both. They're
Do they
identical.
have any sort of difference in how they would be used contextually?
Yeah, I mean, normally you'd look at the TV, you'd look at a movie, do TV, do
ดู
nang,
ทีวีดูหนัง
but you'd look at people, mong kon,
อ่า
dern by, you know. I suppose mong really means to gaze,
อ่าฮะ
but there's also another word, la, also means to kind of gaze. It's a mong is to look for a long time, maybe. And look is, well, when you look at the TV, you're also looking at a long time. So that's,
อืม
yeah, you're right. They have the same meaning, but they tend to be used idiomatically in different situations.
Well, for TV, we say watch, which is sort of like look and monitor.
Yeah, yeah. So do might be to watch, yeah. And in fact, when you say do la,
ดู
la
แล
also means to kind of gaze. Do la means to take care of, to look after somebody. So you're watching somebody while, you know, look, I'm looking after my kids. Well, I'm just watching out for them. It's, yeah, but Robert is right. It depends on the context, which word you choose, but they all have the same meaning, basically.
then you have เฝ้าระวัง
Okay, same letter. We'll finish with this one, and then we'll just play around with something else. The same letter, but this time as a consonant. Oh, actually, I forgot to show you the proper picture of it, the story behind. This is the same U-boat captain, by the way. But now he's looking out of his U-boat, the porthole, the round thingies that they have in boats and U-boats, at the beautiful scenery outside at Krabi or Kopangan or Koh Samui or something like that. And that's why he was in such awe. You know, he was looking out at the awesome beauty of the Thai islands, but not being a very literary man, sea captain, he's speechless. He's at a loss for words. He has no words. He cannot make any sound to describe the absolute awesomeness of the awesomeness. You know what I mean? See, I'm at a loss for words to describe that. So it's a consonant that makes no sound. And what it's used for is as a kind of a starting block or a placeholder for any vowel that you tack onto it. And then that means it allows you to say the vowel sound on its own. Because Thai spelling doesn't allow you to have a vowel on its own. You know, like we have in English, we can have ant. Okay, but in Thai, I can't say, in fact, it won't even allow me to. The word wouldn't allow me to type the R vowel without first typing a consonant, but I can do it backwards. You can't have that in Thai because this vowel here must be attached to a consonant. And because it's a right-hand vowel, it must be attached to some consonant. But now what if I want to actually say the an sound? Well, what I do is I use this little magic trick. I put in the silent consonant and then I add or attach the ah vowel to this consonant, which makes no sound. And then I just make the ah sound.
How do you know when it doesn't have a sound or when it should have the O sound?
Okay, when it's a vowel, it will be itself attached to the right-hand side of a consonant, like we had with ka and non and ba. Okay, I'll just color them. I'll do it this way. Give them a bit of a color. There we go. So here we are. Now there are vowels, you see, and notice they're all attached on the right-hand side of some consonant. That's the U-boat captain with the mother, with the curl, ka. This case, the 96 nail boots, non. This case, the U-boat captain, ba. Now, I'm going to use that as a silent consonant in order to attach a vowel.
Got it.
So how would you pronounce that word? Yes. And is a very easy word to remember. It means to open wide. And you have to open your mouth wide to say it right. Open your mouth wide and say So, in fact, what's this next word here? Park. Remember what park was? Raina, you park.
Oh, apply lipstick.
Yeah, but
Mouth.
park.
Mouth.
What does park mean?
Open your mouth.
Open your mouth.
Open your mouth. Open your mouth wide.
Mhm.
Park. Open wide your mouth. We would say in English, open your mouth wide, but already means open wide. Open wide your mouth. Or open wide mouth. Park. Is a singing boy, because remember it's a U-boat captain, so that's monotone. And Park is a dead boy, so it's sad. Oh dear. Park. Like we had with Park. Park. Okay, so that's the difference between using this character as a vowel, then it's the awesome sound, or using it as a consonant, in which case it has no sound at all, it's silent. Now, technically, this is actually called a glottal. Have you ever heard that term before?
Yeah,
What-
but I don't really know what it means.
Okay, your glottis is this thing, your voice box, basically. It's kind of the bottom of your tongue. And if you were to close off your throat, that's called a glottal stop. You're stopping off the sound from coming out of your throat by basically pushing your tongue into your throat. And in fact, look, there it is. There's the tongue pushed back in the middle of your, there's a big open mouth, and there you can see the tonsils.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like that Arabic sound. You're like Ahmed, Ahmed, Allah, Allah, Ahmed and Allah.
But
And in fact, when
but
we
a K
say
in chicken.
a vowel in English, we do actually make thing in our mouth that we make a glottal stop to say. You can't say ant without stopping off your throat first. You can't say you make a silence.
It's
Apple.
the starting position.
It's a starting
Yeah.
position.
Uh-huh.
Apple. You don't say apple.
Mhm.
And in fact, that's the physical distinction between a consonant and a vowel. A consonant is something where you close something off in your mouth, either with your throat or your tongue or your teeth or your mouth or your lips. But those are consonances. And vowels are anything where your mouth is open. Ah, e, oo, or when your mouth is open, that's a vowel and a consonant. And in fact, even in English, we start off by making a consonant sound, which is like our launching pad, where we stop the air from escaping from our mouths, and then we open our mouths to make a vowel sound. Apple, week, pack, ma, so on and so forth. For some reason, the order here hasn't updated. I want to change the order slightly. Yeah, okay. We've just done this word. Let's just review it. Okay. What about the and the tone is
Sad.
yeah, dead boy, dead boy, sad. Up means to bathe. Like apnam is to go and have a shower, go and have a bath, go wash up. Nam, to bathe with water. Okay, let's do this one here. What's happening here? Whoa, we've got two letters the same. Which is which? Which is which? Which one's a consonant? Which one's a vowel?
Consonant on the left.
Raina, what do you say?
Consonant on the left.
Yeah. And this is the right-hand awesome vowel, which is attached to the silent consonant. So you just simply say the awesome sound. An ark is a dead boy. Sad. So ark is out. And what is this here? 2 words.
Tang
Tang or remember what a tang is.
way.
Tang is way.
Way out.
Way out. Exit. Yeah. Tang or it's a way out.
Okay.
What about this one? What's happening here?
Default short vowel.
Yeah, it's got the invisible o in the middle and starts with a silent consonant. So you basically just say that invisible o. And it's a dead boy, so it's sad.
Okay.
Ok. And ok is chest or breast. So okai, gai is chicken. What do you
Oh.
think ok gai is?
Chicken breast.
Thai is kind of like French in a way, where you kind of reverse the. So we say chicken breast, they say breast chicken. We say red car, they say car red. Like French, they say voiture rouge or not rouge voiture. So in that sense, Thai is kind of like the mirror image of English. We'll get back to that later. What about this word?
Oh.
Same pattern.
Oh.
Yeah, dead,
Ob,
boy, sad. Op means to bake.
Oh.
So ok gai op.
Mm.
What do you think an ok gai op is?
Opman, baked potato, opman.
Ok gai, okman, yeah. Man is fatty. Okman farang. So ok gai op is chicken breast, and op is baked chicken breast. Hang on, gai ok op.
om,
Again,
om,
the first one is the silent character, and then the om, and it's a singing boy.
Singing boy. Okay.
Om.
Um.
Om is to keep something in your mouth, suck something on your mouth, like a boiled sweet or candy. Om, om, nom, 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 om. So a boiled sweet is a luk om. Luk is a round thing. Luk om. And this is also the kind of om you'd use for a blowjob, by the way. Just so you know. Om. So if anybody asks you om dai mai, you know what they're asking for. As opposed to this word, how do you pronounce this? Yeah. This is the awesome vowel in the middle. So that's not om. And that is to save or economize. So there's that government savings is Tanakan Omsin. Government savings bank. Great, well done. And as a quick finale, just going to show you some interesting stuff. Where are they now? Let's see. Right. Can you read this? It's kind of handwriting, but you can probably recognize it. What's this letter?
Okay.
Yeah, it's a chicken. See the beak? And what do you think this one is in the middle?
Gong.
That's the awesome character. Yeah, gong.
Gong.
Habad. Can you guess what gong was?
Heap.
It's a heap, a pile. Yeah. So this pile of whatever it is looks like green potatoes, but
or bad avocados.
or bad. Yeah. Habad for the pile. Gong.